But see, it's got that car lit up blue there. It knows it's the problem child right there. And oh my gosh, it isn't. It is treating it like a stop sign. Welcome back to a new drive. This time we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Check this out. What we're doing today is we are going on a 53-minute drive, 27 miles to my client's house that is a long ways away. It's a decent ways. What we're going to do today is we're going to see in real life application what update 10.3.1, I believe it is able to do and get me all the way down there. I'm not going to narrate most of this one. I'm just going to see what happens and how many times I have to disengage and how it handles each of these situations. I'll come in and out as different things start to happen, but most of the time, we'll enjoy some nice music and just see what this car is capable of. Now, keep in mind, it may lose its connection here to being able to actually navigate me because it is pouring down rain here, have another big winter event, and it's possible that I may have to actually do some more driving, but we'll see how far I can actually go. Now, for those of you who are new to autopilot in the full self-drive beta, anytime that you see my car have a blue steering wheel there, that means that the car is fully doing this 100% on its own, and I am not in any way engaging or helping the car with its steering or braking. So it's going to go now. Oh, that is so good. Looking forward like that. And so I have to take it over there. It always does that right there. It turns into that lane. I don't know why. It just hasn't yet figured out how to actually follow that line out of my neighborhood. So that's something that hasn't been improved on 10.3 yet. So that's something, things like that are what we're going to be looking for along this journey. Here's people on the side of the road. Look how it swerves away from those people. Oh yeah, that was sweet. See, that is super cool. I have to say, this far in the drive, I am very impressed that the car is still not giving me the bad weather warning and kicking off navigate and autopilot. So far, still going strong. Now, right here last time, the car wanted to go around the car in front of me because it saw that lane moving, and it tried to get into that turn lane, and it's not doing that right now, which is actually a pretty cool thing to see because it did that twice, and it's not making any intention of jumping out of the lane now. So one thing you just saw me do right there was I rolled my right scroll wheel up, and so what that does is it adjusts my maximum speed. The speed limit is shown here at 35 miles per hour. I just simply raised it to 39, telling the car it's allowed to go up to 39 miles per hour before it stops its automatic acceleration. And you notice as we passed that speed limit sign that the car jumped up to 45 miles per hour, so I went again and raised my max speed up to 47. You can go into the settings and have it do that automatically, but being on the beta, I like it to go right to the speed limit, and then depending on how the car is acting, I'll adjust it manually, but you can do that automatically. Oh, and look at this. We are now dealing with lights being out. The power is out here right now in town. And so this is something that the car is not capable of dealing with right now. So this is something that I'm going to have to manually take over here because chances are the car is going to go waiting for our turn. Oh my gosh, it isn't. It is treating it like a stop sign. Holy cow, look at that, and it handles it perfectly. What? Oh my gosh, yes. Guys, I am so impressed right now with 10.3. I mean, I'll just take a minute to say there's been no brake checks, no pounding the brake all the way down that road before it did it before, not jumping in the lanes, we're firm in the road, everything is smooth. I am so impressed right now. I mean, you think about that. There was no stop signs there. It just saw that the lights were out and went. It saw the line on the road and just waited for its turn. It said on the screen, waiting for our turn. There was no stop sign there for it to read to determine that that was a four-way stop. It did that on its own. That is so impressive. And you can see that the car wants to get over a lane, and I don't really like that considering we have to turn left up here. I'm not sure why it's wanting to do that, but we're gonna let it do its thing and see what happens. We may end up missing our light, but you know, so it goes. So this light is also out up here. And I think it just sees that the right lane is actually moving faster. So one thing you could do right now is you could cancel the turn by just hitting the you know, the gear stock up here, not the gear stock, but the indicator stock. But we're just gonna let the car do its thing. Now, by the way, look at this blue up here. This is the car recognizing what other car in the path that they're on and which one it's interested in. Watch on my screen as it does it. See the cars lighting up over here blue? See the two over there on the far right as it's watching and determining its own turn. Very, very cool. So here we go. It's gonna say waiting for our turn here in a minute. Let's see how it does this. Wow, see there's the blue cars coming. Look at all the blue cars as it's watching. Okay, this time it's not doing this thing, so I'm gonna have to go here because it did not wait for its turn there. It just kind of stopped, but it did do it one time, so that was pretty impressive. So I don't know really what the differences were between those two, but there certainly was some differences. And look at all these cars in this lane. Oh my word. I've never driven in traffic yet, so this is a pretty big deal for me. So one thing we're gonna see here is another light. This is our third attempt, so we're 1 for 1. Let's see what happens here. Cars are stopping and going. I just wonder if they're reading the pattern of what's going on or what the deal is. So we're watching, this cars went, those cars right there went, the ones on the left went. Is it gonna go? It's not. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. And I'm only pushing on the accelerator right now. I have yet to ever take it out of autopilot. So let's just see what happens here. Oh, it did it so good. Right there, last time you guys, it jumped into that lane 10 feet too soon. That time it did it absolutely perfectly. Once again here, we're turning left, but the car does not have a light to go off of. Autopilot pause, waiting for our turn. This time it's gonna do it. But see, it's got that car lit up blue there. It knows it's the problem child right there. And so these cars are gonna come again, even though it's our turn. Let's see how the car reacts to this. Super impressive here though, right? My goodness. Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go. Let's go. Let's do it. Whoa. So there was a car came by right there. Car couldn't see that. So right now what I'm doing, you guys, okay, so cars coming. These cars are sneaking in. Here we go. Cars going. My gosh. Did you see that? Oh man, I think I hit the steering wheel too hard there. I'm trying to hold on to it because, you know, when you're turning a corner, it tells you put some tension on the wheel. You do it, but sometimes you can do it too hard and it'll kick you out. Here we go again, waiting for our turn. All right, here we go. Very good. I cannot believe how impressive that was. That could not have been easy. That must have been a very, very complex situation. Look at all the traffic. This is all because the power is out in this city. This is going to be, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so glad we caught this on camera and in 5K. This is impressive. Let's see if we're waiting for our turn again or if it's going to make me do it here. Okay, so we're going to stop. So it doesn't recognize right now that the light is out, so it's going to have me do it. So I'm going to go right here. Car is still driving. See, their hands are on the wheel. Got really close to that car. That's fine. But we made it through, and now we're going again. So not one time, not once did I disengage. I had to press on the accelerator on 3 of those lights, I believe it was. Outside of that, 100% of it was done by the car. Oh my word, I am blown away. This is a beta right now, and it did that. So in my opinion, 100%. So impressed. Oh my gosh. Okay, check this out. Let's see how autopilot's gonna handle these cars merging in line here. This is super cool. So it's slowed down to let these 2 cars come in, and then there's gonna be a guy back here to the right that, behind us. It's gonna pull him behind us here. So the car was super polite, but now it's gonna change lanes and get up to speed again, because you can see that our max speed is 65, and and the car went down to 55 miles an hour for that. So that's why that happened there. And what's gonna happen here is as soon as it can, it'll get back into the slow lane or the driving lane again, once it determines that this lane up here is no longer, well, it's not going to slow the car down to be in it. So that's what it's going to be watching for here. But that's not going to happen because you can see the cameras that there's other cars around, and so that's pretty interesting there. But I would like to see it just get over rather than have slowed down there. But I mean, that's something they're still working out, and I imagine when we get to single stack, but that will be what happens. Which, by the way, when you hear the people say single stack, it's my understanding is that what that is when you basically are taking all the different functions of the car's autopilot system and putting it into one. So like having multiple stack is like having the parking is one, which, you know, worked pretty well. Then you got navigating autopilot on the freeways, which is another stack that does pretty well. And then you got city driving, which is getting a lot better, but, you know, at a different stage. Well, it's going to take and make it all one, rewrite them all into one stack, one single layer That's what that is. So that's a pretty watered down, terrible explanation of it, but that's basically what it is. Also keep in mind that everything is on autopilot right now. So even my windshield wipers, even the auto high beams, everything is turned on to auto right now. So anything you're seeing happening is all the car deciding to do it. I have to just point out again, it is pouring rain. Look at the water on my windshield and the cameras, and I have not lost navigating autopilot. I have never, ever seen this. This has never happened in the year and a half I've been a tester, autopilot tester, recording this. You look back at any amount of videos, I always lose it with a fraction of this amount of rain. It's going strong and it's been strong, both on the navigating autopilot in the city, as well as right now on the freeways. And you can see here that I got to get over it for this exit, and it's starting to back up right here. So it's going to be interesting to see what the car decides to do here, knowing it needs to get over it. It's not giving any indicators right now about that, but it doesn't need this exit. It's kind of like a future exit. So this is actually probably smart that it's not getting over it. We'll see how it does here. All right, I guess so technically this is the lane I need to actually be in. So I think if we just stay in this lane, we're going to be exactly where we want to be. Let's see what the car does. There we go, taking the turn, or the merge. And now we're going to be heading on to something called I-5. I think most people in the United States have heard of I-5. And so lots of traffic, lots of lanes, and we're right in the dead heart of traffic time. So this should be interesting to see how the car handles it. And I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to what we're used to, because we're not on the street or city driving right now. But let's just see how far she can go. All right, we're watching for our turn to get over. There it is. So we're not going to fight too much. Oh, yes. Last time I came on here for a test, we went all the way up there and ended up getting right beside a big semi-truck, and I had to slam on my brakes and all this, but it just absolutely nailed it. And you can see it actually wants to go over one more lane, so we'll watch for the autopilot to get over there and do that. This is just too cool. So one big update that I want to share with you guys that is just making this driving in traffic such an awesome experience is that it is not trying to jump lanes into one that's just going slightly faster. It's reading enough cars ahead to know that it's not going to gain anything. And it's gone all this time and hasn't tried to change lanes on me. Whereas when I didn't have the beta, any chance it could get, it was constantly changing lanes. So the fact that I never drove in traffic with navigating autopilot on, I just would use regular auto steer. But this is phenomenal. It's kept me in the perfect lane and has not jumped lanes on me. You guys, I am so unbelievably impressed by this. Great job, Tesla, and the team there. Absolutely incredible work. There it is. Navigate and autopilot unavailable. So you can see that the lines are now double here, and because the weather is just getting too bad. Not only is it getting bad, but it's very much twilight right now, and it's just hard to see. So what'll happen is if the weather shapes up a little bit, then it'll turn back on automatically. Know when that happens, because those two lines will turn into one line. And so anyway, we'll see what happens. And there you go. See, the car jumped right back into it again, which is also really impressive because it is definitely trying hard to stay in autopilot or navigate in autopilot. I'm just so not used to being in this navigate version of this with this kind of weather. It just gives me a lot of hope for those of us in the West who have a lot of different weather throughout the year, that we're going to be able to really use this beta system. All right, well, literally nothing happened on that drive on the rest of the way in that traffic. It didn't change sceneries at all, so I'm just cutting right here to the actual exit ramp. I want to point out here as well that you notice how the car is not getting into that exit only lane on the right side there. Again, on a different drive challenge, when I came down here, the car didn't know the difference, so it jumped into that lane on the right hand side. So even though we're not in the city where the beta looks different and everything, the car is definitely reading the lines differently and is able to really keep us in the lane it needs to be in. I mean, we haven't one time changed lanes in traffic, and I know that you could change the settings to make you do a lot more of that, but this is exactly perfect for me. I don't like jumping around lanes while I'm going through traffic. I like to stay in the right hand lane. It's usually always the fastest lane, and I mean, honestly, this drive has been insane. I have in the very beginning disengaged it coming out of my neighborhood, and then one time I accidentally did it when I put too much pressure on the wheel, but the car hasn't needed it other than that first time pulling out of my neighborhood. Right now we are in a turn only lane. You can see that the lines, maybe you can't see in your camera, but the lines on the left here are, you know, they're thicker, and so the car is able to read that. But it's interesting because like it's puddling also on the line, so the car is still able to read that, which is actually quite something. It's kept me okay in the lane here, and then at 0.3 miles we're going to be taking this exit, and then it's going to be going back into street driving again. So this will be fun. This is where it gets interesting, and we are 7 minutes away from our destination. So it has been just the most impressive drive of my ownership of the time I've been doing this for CfTesla. This has just been the most amazing experience. And you can see here these arrows right here. That means we're going too fast for the cars on the left, and it's slowing us down to be safe. I'm going to go ahead and accelerate because there's cars lining up behind me a little bit faster so that we can actually get moving here. There we go. So now the car is taking back over. I'm no longer accelerating, and pretty soon here, at about the time when you would normally lose autopilot, it will shift. There it goes. It is now shifted into regular street driving, and here we go. I'm going to put it down to speed limit here. We're just flying through this. Woo, baby! It is a little bit fast. A little uncomfortable to that speed, so let's put it down to the speed limit. Okay, we are now back onto freeway navigate and autopilot. So it got us through that section, and now it's going to navigate us changing lanes to follow route, it says. And we got the blinker on. We got these two cars it's watching. It's going to pull in there. Great job. No one was around us there. I mean, their car behind us was there. Oh, that doesn't help us. It's so blurry. And so that's good. So we're in a, this is a weird spot before. So before when we came to this, when you weren't on the beta, you see how it kind of kicked me off there onto regular street driving and then back onto the navigate on autopilot. And we are taking an exit here, 135. Were we supposed to do that? Well, I guess we're going anyway. Yeah, I don't know if we were supposed to take the exit or not, to be honest. So we'll just see what the car does here. But going through that area before, you'd constantly be kicked off navigate and autopilot back to back to back because it would lose its sense that it was on a freeway. And so you would have to stop, turn it back on again, and it was like this whole mess with brake check. It was really crazy, but it handled it there perfectly smooth because it was able to transition into the beta, the street driving. So very impressive there. Okay, we're hitting the brakes pretty hard there. We see the light up here coming up. Okay, so what's next here? We're gonna be turning left up here at this street. So I've never been through here. The car's never been driven through here. Let's see how well it handles it behind this big old truck where it can't see much. All right, and here we go. So we're gonna be taking this left turn here. You can't really see, it's blind. You got construction cones or not. We're gonna go through this yellow light. Hopefully that cop doesn't get mad. I ran that dark yellow light right in front of that cop. Oh well. Okay, well at least I'm listening to the navigation because I thought we were turning on that other light. Turns out we're actually turning on this light. Changing lanes to, okay, it sees the yellow light. It's gonna slow down right here and not run this light. Thank goodness. Whoops. I don't know what it was going to do there. It looked like it was going to slam on a turn right there, but now that I got that cop right next to me, I'm going to not let it do its crazy things here. Yeah, that car you see on the screen right there, this guy is a police officer. Right beside me. All right, well, I think we're gonna end this drive right here. I'm only a few minutes away from my destination. I can't really show you that address anyway, but I think you guys would have to agree that has been one of the most impressive drives I have seen yet. It handled an entire city with no stoplights. It handled many of the lights like as if there were stop signs. I could not be more impressed. I am just so blown away at what that did. So hit that like button if you guys enjoyed that drive and if you're loving what's happening right now with Navigate and Autopilot and the beta. I am just so impressed myself, and I will see you guys on the next one.